Do not memorize questions. Do not memorize answers. That's the surefire way of failing your theory test. In this video, I just want to talk about some common mistakes that I'm noticing more and more as I run the bootcamp every week and the emails that I'm receiving on WhatsApp messages. No particular order. I just want to discuss it. Just shoot the breeze, basically. So I run a bootcamp every week, Monday to Friday, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., 2-hour live session. And they have access to other training material. And it's producing quite a lot of success. So let me just quickly show you a few. So here, Jennifer, you can see 50 out of 50 on her test. You've got Eunice, 47 out of 50, 63 has a perception at 75. And you've got Gabrielle, again, 50 out of 50. So the bootcamp is producing a lot of success. But with these students and other students, I had to work kind of hard to get it through to them to take their time, which is the first mistake. We're in the bootcamp, we do a daily quiz, so they get tested on the subject matters that we cover in the bootcamp. And they are reading the questions really quickly and reading the answers really quickly and getting the wrong answer. It's a Zoom environment. As much as we dedicate 2 hours, if I have to stay on longer with them, I will stay on longer. So I'm not understanding why they're rushing, but that's what some of you are doing on a real test. You're going in there and doing your real test 15, 20 minutes when you have a total of 57 minutes. Now, if I was doing the test, I would take as long as I need to pass it. Because to me, I would take 50 minutes and pass rather than do it 20 minutes and fail. Makes no sense to me. But some of you are saying one of the reasons why I think I'm failing because I'm rushing. Question, ask yourself why you're rushing. Slow yourself down. But when you're at home and you're doing practice tests, practice slowing down. You can't switch it on and off. So you can't rush at home and then think on the day of the test, I'm going to slow it down, because the brain doesn't work that way. It wants to practice what it's used to. And if you're used to rushing, that's what it's going to do on the day of the test. So do not rush the questions. Do not rush your answers. That's the first mistake. The second one is not understanding the questions or understanding the answers. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Again, I've had a few emails, even on the live that I did on Sunday gone, there was a few words that popped up: aquaplaning, not clutch control, coasting was another one. And people was typing in the comment section and I get asked, what do these words mean? You guys, if you don't know what the words mean when you're at home studying, guess what you can do? Google it. AI, use Chat GPT. It's not cheating. When you're at home practicing researching, it's not cheating by using stuff to give you. It's like using a dictionary. Think of it that way. If you don't understand what a word is, look in a dictionary. It's the same thing. If you don't understand the words for the theory test that they're using, Google it or AI it so you get the full understanding. It's better to use Chat GPT as well, because once you understand what the words is, ask Chat to give you an example of it in a sentence, and it will give you a phrase that you can use and log in. You guys are still trying to do the test, not doing the extra work. The more work you do now, the better chance that you have of passing the theory test. And believe it or not, the more work you do now, when you pass the theory test, your driving becomes easier because you understand what those words mean. You understand when to use certain things in certain situations for your driving test. I say this a lot on my lives. You're using the theory test for your driving lessons. You just happen to have to pass a theory test to take a driving test. Don't see it as a means just to pass the theory test and then park it. You're going to use this information in your driving lessons, in your driving test. So understand the wording, understand what they are asking from you. The third mistake that I see is still you guys are memorizing answers. The apps are sampled questions. It even says on the app, if you read in the detail, it says these are sample questions and not the real questions. When you go for the real test, the questions are going to be worded slightly differently. There may be questions that you've never seen before. So you need to understand it, which goes back to one of the mistakes I was talking about previously, but some of you are still memorizing. And I'll give you an example. I won't call out a name in the bootcamp. So we're doing the daily quiz and a question came up and she got it wrong. So I said to her, why did you choose that answer? And this is another tip for you guys. When you get a question wrong, what you guys are doing on the app, you get the question wrong, you go straight to what the answer says on the app, the correct answer, and that's it. That's not the way to learn. The way to learn is question, you got the answer wrong. Look at the answer you chose. Ask yourself why you chose that, because then the brain can start to work out why you chose and then eliminate it for next time. If you go question and just go straight to the right answer, you're memorizing. Subconsciously, you're memorizing. You don't feel like it, but you are. You need to eliminate, why did I choose that answer? Okay, when that comes up, I know that's not correct for next time. But anyway, student, question 4 options. She chose the wrong options. I asked her why. She said, well, I done a mock test yesterday and I got a similar question and I think that's the answer I picked. So I said to her, why would you try to memorize the answer from a test that you did yesterday when you got the questions here now, you got the options in front of you now live, and you're trying to memorize an answer from a previous test? So when I revealed the correct answer, her answer was wrong. So she may have even got the question from yesterday that she did wrong. But my point I'm making is, why would you got the questions and answers in front of you? Why would you try to recall a test that you did yesterday, 2 days ago, last week, when you got the correct information right in front of you? Do not memorize questions. Do not memorize answers. That's the surefire way of failing your theory test. You have the questions in front of you. You have the answers in front of you. Work out from that. As I keep saying, if you don't know what the answer is, work backwards. Work out what it can't be. There's always a stupid answer on there. Get rid. And then what you want to do then, sometimes there's 2 stupid answers. Sometimes there's 3. You're left with a default. Remember, you're trying to choose a safest option or a controlled outcome. But don't memorize answers and questions. All the theory test does sometimes is change a few words and that answer is going to be totally different. So don't memorize questions. Do not memorize answers. Understand your stuff. So when they word it anyway, you're going to know what the answer is. The other common mistake that I noticed as well is on when you do mock tests, the last 3 questions, if you didn't know, 48, 49 and 50 are videos and they're called case studies. You can watch these videos more than once. Hazard perception videos, you can only watch once, but these case study videos, I'll repeat, question 48, 49 and 50, you can watch as many times as you need to. And some of you guys are just literally watching it once. I want to just demonstrate what happens when you watch it once. So let me just jump onto my iPad. So here you have the video. The question here says you want to travel on the A61. Which lane should you use at the roundabout? Okay. So when you watch the video, let me just literally enlarge this. So you just see A61. So you think the left-hand lane. I repeat, you watch the video again, even watching it twice now, you just see A61 on the video because you watched it once. Now, watch what happens when you watch it again. I'm going to try and put it at the right place. You've got A61 in the left-hand lane and then A61 in the middle lane. But if you watch it once, you don't see that. There's also a video of a blind man walking next to a white wall and it asks you what disability he's got. You watch the video once. So the eyes pick up the white stick against the white wall. But what it doesn't pick up is the red color on the stick as well. 2 colors, 2 disabilities. So in other words, if you watch it once, you're only getting 1 color. But if you watch it 2 or 3 times, the eyes start to recognize the red against the white. And this is why you want to watch the case study videos 2 or 3 times at least before going to answer the question. And even if you watch it 2 or 3 times and you don't know what the answer is, you can still go back and rewatch the video. It doesn't make a difference. As I said, all of this still comes down to take your time answering the questions, reading the questions carefully, answering the questions carefully. Take your time, watch the videos. But you guys are still making, and these are basic errors. If you go in there and you literally don't know what the answer is, you can still work out what the answer is by just choosing the safest option. But when you're going there and your knowledge is already weak because you're reading the questions too fast, you're reading the answers too fast, you don't understand what they're talking about in certain words, you're setting yourself up for failure. As I said, if you want to pass your theory test, take the time to study it properly. I've also got an ultimate study guide in the link below. So if you want to download that, that's going to give you hints, tips and tricks of how to pass your theory test and how to study for your theory test. So you can download that by clicking the link. But you guys need to stop making these mistakes. I'm seeing it every single week. Hazard perception goes without saying, but that's a video all on its own. So now we just talked about the basic mistakes. Go off and watch the hazard perception video, and that's going to help you pass with the 2-click method. I'll see you in that video.